Behind every breakthrough is a simple idea, and Big Data MBA reveals the ones that matter. We will focus on what it says about data and business. Stay with me, the best part is near the end. Chapter 1: Stories. Who should read this book? This book is targeted toward business users and business management. I wrote this book so that I could use it in teaching my Big Data MBA class, so included all of the hands-on exercises and templates that my students would need to successfully earn their Big Data MBA graduation certificate. I think folks would benefit by also reading my first book, Big Data: Understanding How Data Powers Big Business, which is targeted toward the IT audience. There is some overlap between the two books, 10 to 15%, but the first book sets the stage and introduces concepts that are explored in more detail in this book. Tools you will need: no special tools are required other than a pencil, an eraser, several sheets of paper, and your creativity. Grab a chai tea latte, some chipotle, and enjoy. What's on the website? You can download the Thinking Like a Data Scientist workbook from the book's website at www.wiley.com. Go Big Datamba. And oh, there might be another surprise there as well. Here. What this means for you: as students from my class at USF have told me, this material allows them to take a problem or challenge and use a well-thought-out process to drive cross-organizational collaboration to come up with ideas they can turn into actions using data and analytics. What employer wouldn't want a future leader who knows how to do that? Part I: Business Potential of Big Data. Chapters 1 through 4 set the foundation for driving business strategies with data science. In particular, the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index highlights the realm of what's possible from a business potential perspective by providing a roadmap that measures the effectiveness of your organization to leverage data and analytics to power your business models. Chapter 2: The Importance of the User Experience. Chapter 1: The Big Data Business Mandate. Having trouble getting your senior management team to understand the business potential of big data? Can't get your management leadership to consider big data to be something other than an IT science experiment? Are your line of business leaders unwilling to commit themselves to understanding how data and analytics can power their top initiatives? If so, then this Big Data Senior Executive Care Package is for you, and for a limited time, you get an unlimited license to share this care package with as many senior executives as you desire. But you must act now. Become the life of the company parties with your extensive knowledge of how new customer, product, and operational insights can guide your organization's value creation processes. And maybe, just maybe, get a promotion in the process. Chapter 3: Note: all company material referenced in this book comes from public sources and is referenced accordingly. Big Data MBA Introduction. The days when business users and business management can relinquish control of data and analytics to IT are over, or at least for organizations that want to survive beyond the immediate term. The big data discussion now needs to focus on how organizations can couple new sources of customer, product, and operational data with advanced analytics, data science, to power their key business processes and elevate their business models. Organizations need to understand that they do not need a big data strategy as much as they need a business strategy that incorporates big data. The Big Data MBA challenges the thinking that data and analytics are ancillary or a bolt-on to the business, that data and analytics are someone else's problem. In a growing number of leading organizations, data and analytics are critical to business success and long-term survival. Business leaders and business users reading this book will learn why they must take responsibility for identifying where and how they can apply data and analytics to their businesses, otherwise they put their businesses at risk of being made obsolete by more nimble, data-driven competitors. The Big Data MBA introduces and describes concepts, techniques, methodologies, and hand-on exercises to guide you as you seek to address the big data business mandate. The book provides hands-on exercises and homework assignments to make these concepts and techniques come to life for your organization. It provides recommendations and actions that enable your organization to start today. And in the process, Big Data MBA teaches you to think like a data scientist. The Forrester Study Reset on Big Data, Hopkins et al., 2014, highlights the critical role of a business-centric focus in the big data discussion. The study argues that technology-focused executives within a business will think of big data as a technology and fail to convey its importance to the boardroom. Businesses of all sizes must reframe the big data conversation with the business leaders in the boardroom. The critical and difficult big data question that business leaders must address is, how effective is our organization at integrating data and analytics into our business models? Before business leaders can begin these discussions, organizations must understand their current level of big data maturity. Discusses in detail the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index. The Big Data Business Model Maturity Index is a measure of how effective an organization is at integrating data and analytics to power their business model. Figure Big Data Business Model Maturity Index. The Big Data Business Model Maturity Index provides a roadmap for how organizations can integrate data and analytics into their business models. The Big Data Business Model Maturity Index is composed of the following 5 phases. Phase 1. Business monitoring. In the business monitoring phase, organizations are leveraging data warehousing and business intelligence to monitor the organization's performance. Phase 2. Business insights. The business insights phase is about leveraging predictive analytics to uncover customer, product, and operational insights buried in the growing wealth of internal and external data sources. In this phase, organizations aggressively expand their data acquisition efforts by coupling all of their detailed transactional and operational data with internal data such as consumer comments, email conversations, and technician notes, as well as external and publicly available data such as social media, weather, traffic, economic, demographics, home values, and local events data. Phase 3. Business optimization. In the business optimization phase, organizations apply prescriptive analytics to the customer, product, and operational insights uncovered in the business insights phase to deliver actionable insights or recommendations to frontline employees, business managers, and channel partners, as well as customers. The goal of the business optimization phase is to enable employees, partners, and customers to optimize their key decisions. Phase 4. Data monetization. In the data monetization phase, organizations leverage the customer, product, and operational insights to create new sources of revenue. This could include selling data or insights into new markets, a cellular phone provider selling customer behavioral data to advertisers, integrating analytics into products and services to create smart products, or repackaging customer, product, and operational insights to create new products and services, to enter new markets, and/or to reach new audiences. Phase 5. Business metamorphosis. The holy grail of the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index is when an organization transitions its business model from selling products to selling business as a service. Think GE selling thrust instead of jet engines. Think John Deere selling farming optimization instead of farming equipment. Think Boeing selling air miles instead of airplanes. And in the process, these organizations will create a platform enabling third-party developers to build and market solutions on top of the organization's business-as-a-service business model. Ultimately, big data only matters if it helps organizations make more money and improve operational effectiveness. Examples include increasing customer acquisition, reducing customer churn, reducing operational and maintenance costs, optimizing prices and yield, reducing risks and errors, improving compliance, improving the customer experience, and more. No matter the size of the organization, organizations don't need a big data strategy as much as they need a business strategy that incorporates big data. Focus big data on driving competitive differentiation. I'm always confused about how organizations struggle to differentiate between technology investments that drive competitive parity and those technology investments that create unique and compelling competitive differentiation. Let's explore this difference in a bit more detail. Competitive parity is achieving similar or same operational capabilities as those of your competitors. It involves leveraging industry best practices and pre-packaged software to create a baseline that, at worst, is equal to the operational capabilities across your industry. Organizations end up achieving competitive parity when they buy foundational and undifferentiated capabilities from enterprise software packages such as Enterprise Resource Planning, ERP, Customer Relationship Management, CRM, and Salesforce Automation, SFA. Competitive differentiation is achieved when an organization leverages people, processes, and technology to create applications, programs, processes, etc., that differentiate its products and services from those of its competitors in ways that add unique value for the end customer and create competitive differentiation in the marketplace. Leading organizations should seek to buy foundational and undifferentiated capabilities but build what is differentiated and value-added for their customers. But sometimes organizations get confused between the two. Let's call this the ERP effect. ERP software packages were sold as a software solution that would make everyone more profitable by delivering operational excellence. But when everyone is running the same application, what's the source of the competitive differentiation? Analytics, on the other hand, enables organizations to uniquely optimize their key business processes, drive a more engaging customer experience, and uncover new monetization opportunities with unique insights that they gather about their customers, products, and operations. Chapter 4: Leveraging Technology to Power Competitive Differentiation. While most organizations have invested heavily in ERP-type operational systems, far fewer have been successful in leveraging data and analytics to build strategic applications that provide unique value to their customers and create competitive differentiation in the marketplace. Here are some examples of organizations that have invested in building differentiated capabilities by leveraging new sources of data and analytics: Google, PageRank and ad-serving Yahoo, behavioral targeting and retargeting Facebook, ad-serving and newsfeed Apple, iTunes Netflix, movie recommendations Amazon, customers who bought this item, one-click ordering, and supply chain and logistics Walmart, demand forecasting, supply chain logistics, and retail link Procter & Gamble, brand and category. Management Federal Express, critical inventory logistics American Express and Visa, fraud detection GE, asset optimization and operations optimization, Predix. None of these organizations bought these strategic, business differentiating applications off the shelf. They understood that it was necessary to provide differentiated value to their internal and external customers, and they leveraged data and analytics to build applications that delivered competitive differentiation. Chapter 5: History Lesson on Economic-Driven Business Transformation. More than anything else, the driving force behind big data is the economics of big data. It's 20 to 50 times cheaper to store, manage, and analyze data than it is to use traditional data warehousing technologies. This 20 to 50 times economic impact is courtesy of commodity hardware, open source software, an explosion of new open source tools coming out of academia, and ready access to free online training on topics such as big data architectures and data science. A client of mine in the insurance industry calculated a 50x economic impact. Another client in the healthcare industry calculated a 49x economic impact. They need to look harder to find that missing 1x. History has shown that the most significant technology innovations are ones that drive economic change. From the printing press to interchangeable parts to the microprocessor, these technology innovations have provided an unprecedented opportunity for the more agile and more nimble organizations to disrupt existing markets and establish new value creation processes. Big data possesses that same economic potential, whether it be to create smart cities, improve the quality of medical care, improve educational effectiveness, reduce poverty, improve safety, reduce risks, or even cure cancer. And for many organizations, the first question that needs to be asked about big data is, how effective is my organization at leveraging new sources of data and advanced analytics to uncover new customer, product, and operational insights that can be used to differentiate our customer engagement, optimize key business processes, and uncover new monetization opportunities? Big data is nothing new, especially if you view it from the proper perspective. While the popular big data discussions are around disruptive technology innovations like Hadoop and Spark, the real discussion should be about the economic impact of big data. New technologies don't disrupt business models. It's what organizations do with these new technologies that disrupts business models and enables new ones. Let's review an example of one such economic-driven business transformation: the steam engine. The steam engine enabled urbanization, industrialization, and the conquering of new territories. It literally shrank distance and time by reducing the time required to move people and goods from one side of a continent to the other. The steam engine enabled people to leave low-paying agricultural jobs and move into cities for higher-paying manufacturing and clerical jobs that led to a higher standard of living. For example, cities such as London shot up in terms of population. In 1801, before the advent of George Stephenson's rocket steam engine, London had 1 million residents. After the invention, the population of London more than doubled to 1 million residents by 1851. London transformed the nucleus of society from small tight-knit communities where textile production and agriculture were prevalent into big cities with a variety of jobs. The steam locomotive provided quicker transportation and more jobs, which in turn brought more people into the cities and drastically changed the job market. By 1861, only % of London's population was employed in agriculture, while % were in the manufacturing or transportation business. The steam locomotive was a major turning point in history as it transformed society from largely rural and agricultural into urban and industrial. 2 table shows other historical lessons that demonstrate how technology innovation created economic-driven business opportunities. Table exploiting technology innovation to create economic-driven business opportunities. Technology innovation, economic impact. Printing press expanded literacy, simplified knowledge capture and enabled knowledge dissemination and the education of the masses. Interchangeable parts drove the standardization of manufacturing parts and fueled the Industrial Revolution. Steam engine, railroads and steamboats sparked urbanization, drove transition from agricultural to manufacturing-centric society. Internal combustion engine triggered suburbanization, enabled personal mobility, both geographically and socially. Interstate highway system foundation for interstate commerce, enabled regional specialization and wealth creation. Telephone democratized communications. By eliminating distance and delays as communications issues, computers automated common processes, thereby freeing humans for more creative engagement. Internet gutted cost of commerce and knowledge sharing, enabled remote workforce and international competition. This brings us back to big data. All of these innovations share the same lesson. It wasn't the technology that was disruptive, it was how organizations leveraged the technology to disrupt existing business models and enabled new ones. Critical importance of thinking differently. Organizations have been taught by technology vendors, press, and analysts to think faster, cheaper, and smaller, but they have not been taught to think differently. The inability to think differently is causing organizational alignment and business adoption problems with respect to the big data opportunity. Organizations must throw out much of their conventional data, analytics, and organizational thinking in order to get the maximum value out of big data. Let's introduce some key areas for thinking differently that will be covered throughout this book. Don't think big data technology, think business transformation. Many organizations are infatuated with the technical innovations surrounding big data and the 3 V's of data: volume, variety, and velocity. But starting with a technology focus can quickly turn your big data initiative into a science experiment. You don't want to be a solution in search of a problem. Instead, focus on the 4 M's of big data: make me more money, or if you are a non-profit organization, maybe that's make me more efficient. Start your big data initiative with a business-first approach. Identify and focus on addressing the organization's key business initiatives, that is, what the organization is trying to accomplish from a business perspective over the next 9 to 12 months, e.g., reduce supply chain costs, improve supplier quality and reliability, reduce hospital-acquired infections, improve student performance. Break down or decompose this business initiative into the supporting decisions, questions, metrics, data, analytics, and technology necessary to support the targeted business initiative. Chapter 6: Cross-reference. This book begins by covering the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index in Chapter 2. The Big Data Business Model Maturity Index helps organizations address the key question: how effective is our organization at leveraging data and analytics to power our key business processes and uncover new monetization opportunities? The Maturity Index provides a guide or roadmap with specific recommendations to help organizations advance up the Maturity Index. Introduces the Big Data Strategy Document. The Big Data Strategy Document provides a framework for helping organizations identify where and how to start their big data journey from a business perspective. Chapter 7: Don't think business intelligence, think data science. Data science is different from business intelligence, BI. Resist the advice to try to make these two different disciplines the same. For example, business intelligence focuses on reporting what happened, descriptive analytics. Data science focuses on predicting what is likely to happen, predictive analytics, and then recommending what actions to take, prescriptive analytics. Business intelligence operates with schema on load, in which you have to pre-build the data schema before you can load the data to generate your BI queries and reports. Data science deals with schema on query, in which the data scientists custom design the data schema based on the hypothesis they want to test or the prediction that they want to make. Organizations that try to extend their business intelligence capabilities to encompass big data will fail. That's like stating that you're going to the moon, then climbing a tree and declaring that you are closer. Unfortunately, you can't get to the moon from the top of a tree. Data science is a new discipline that offers compelling, business differentiating capabilities, especially when coupled with business intelligence. Chapter 8: Don't think data warehouse, think data lake. In the world of big data, Hadoop and HDFS is a game changer. It is fundamentally changing the way organizations think about storing, managing, and analyzing data. And I don't mean Hadoop as yet another data source for your data warehouse. I'm talking about Hadoop and HDFS as the foundation for your data and analytics environments to take advantage of the massively parallel processing, cheap scale-out data architecture that can run hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of Hadoop nodes. We are witnessing the dawn of the age of the data lake. The data lake enables organizations to gather, manage, enrich, and analyze many new sources of data, whether structured or unstructured. The data lake enables organizations to treat data as an organizational asset to be gathered and nurtured versus a cost to be minimized. Organizations need to treat their reporting environments, traditional BI and data warehousing, and analytics, data science, environments differently. These two environments have very different characteristics and serve different purposes. The data lake can make both of the BI and data science environments more agile and more productive. Figure Modern Data Analytics Environment. Chapter 9. Don't think what happened, think what will happen. Business users have been trained to contemplate business questions that monitor the current state of the business and to focus on retrospective reporting on what happened. Business users have become conditioned by their BI and data warehouse environments to only consider questions that report on current business performance, such as how many widgets did I sell last month? And what were my gross sales last quarter? Unfortunately, this retrospective view of the business doesn't help when trying to make decisions and take action about future situations. We need to get business users to think differently about the types of questions they can ask. We need to move the business investigation process beyond the performance monitoring questions to the predictive, what will likely happen, and prescriptive, what should I do? Questions that organizations need to address in order to optimize key business processes and uncover new monetization opportunities. Table evolution of the business questions: what happened? Descriptive BI, what will happen? Predictive analytics, what should I do? Prescriptive analytics, how many widgets did I sell last month? How many widgets will I sell next month? Order 50000, units of component Z to support widget sales for next month. What were sales by zip code for Christmas last year? What will be sales by zip code over this Christmas season? Hire Y new sales representatives by these zip codes to handle projected Christmas sales. How many of product X were returned last month? How many of product X will be returned next month? Set aside $125,000 in financial reserve to cover product X returns. What were company revenues and profits for the past quarter? What are projected company revenues and profits for next quarter? Sell the following product mix to achieve quarterly revenue and margin goals. How many employees did I hire last year? How many employees will I need to hire next year? Increase hiring pipeline by 35% to achieve hiring goals. Chapter 10. Don't think hippo, think collaboration. Unfortunately, today it is still the hippo, the highest paid person's opinion, that determines most of the business decisions. Reasons such as "we've always done things that way," or "my years of experience tell me," or "this is what the CEO wants" are still given as reasons for why the hippo needs to drive the important business decisions. Unfortunately, that type of thinking has led to siloed data fiefdoms, siloed decisions, and an UN-empowered and frustrated business team. Organizations need to think differently about how they empower all of their employees. Organizations need to find a way to promote and nurture creative thinking and groundbreaking ideas across all levels of the organization. There is no edict that states that the best ideas only come from senior management. The key to big data success is empowering cross-functional collaboration and exploratory thinking to challenge long-held organizational rules of thumb, heuristics, and gut decision-making. The business needs an approach that is inclusive of all the key stakeholders: IT, business users, business management, channel partners, and ultimately customers. The business potential of big data is only limited by the creative thinking of the organization. Chapter 11, Power of Envisioning, discusses how the BI summary big data is interesting from a technology perspective, but the real story for big data is how organizations of different sizes are leveraging data and analytics to power their business models. Big data has the potential to uncover new customer, product, and operational insights that organizations can use to optimize key business processes, improve customer engagement, uncover new monetization opportunities, and rewire the organization's value creation processes. As discussed in this chapter, organizations need to understand that big data is about business transformation and business model disruption. There will be winners and there will be losers, and having business leadership sit back and wait for IT to solve the big data problems for them quickly classifies into which group your organization will likely fall. Senior business leadership needs to determine where and how to leverage data and analytics to power your business models before a more nimble competitor or a hungrier competitor disintermediates your business. To realize the financial potential of big data, business leadership must make big data a top business priority, not just a top IT priority. Business leadership must actively participate in determining where and how big data can deliver business value, and the business leaders must be front and center in leading the integration of the resulting analytic insights into the organization's value creation processes. For leading organizations, big data provides a once-in-a-lifetime business opportunity to build key capabilities, skills, and applications that optimize key business processes, drive a more compelling customer experience, uncover new monetization opportunities, and drive competitive differentiation. Remember, buy for parity, but build for competitive differentiation. At its core, big data is about economic transformation. Big data should not be treated like just another technology science experiment. History is full of lessons of how organizations have been able to capitalize on economics-driven business transformations. Big data provides one of those economic Forrest Gump moments where organizations are fortunate to be at the right place at the right time. Don't miss this opportunity. Finally, organizations have been taught to think cheaper, smaller, and faster, but they have not been taught to think differently, and that's exactly what's required if you want to exploit the big data opportunity. Many of the data and analytics best practices that have been taught over the past several decades no longer hold true. Understand what has changed and learn to think differently about how your organization leverages data and analytics to deliver compelling business value. In summary, business leadership needs to lead the big data initiative, to step up and make big data a top business mandate. If your business leaders don't take the lead in identifying where and how to integrate big data into your business models, then you risk being disintermediated in a marketplace where more agile, hungrier competitors are learning that data and analytics can yield compelling competitive differentiation. Homework assignment: use the following exercises to apply what you learned in this chapter. Exercise number 1. Identify a key business initiative for your organization, something the business is trying to accomplish over the next 9 to 12 months. It might be something like improve customer retention, optimize customer acquisition, reduce customer churn, optimize predictive maintenance, reduce revenue theft, and so on. Exercise number 2. Brainstorm and write down what 1. Customer, 2. Product, and 3. Operational insights your organization would like to uncover in order to support the targeted business initiative. Start by capturing the different types of descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive questions you'd like to answer about the targeted business initiative. Tip: Don't worry about whether or not you have the data sources you need to derive the insights you want, yet. Exercise number 3. Brainstorm and write down data sources that might be useful in uncovering those key insights. Look both internally and externally for interesting data sources that might be useful. Tip: think outside the box and imagine that you could access any data source in the world. Notes: 1 Hopkins, Brian, Fate McCattyblue with Kyle McNabb, James Staton, Andres Sir, Holger Kiska, Ph., Leslie Owens, Jennifer Belisant, Ph., Abigail Komlenik, Reset on Big Data. Embrace Big Data to Engage Customers at Scale, Forrester Research, 2014. Chapter 2: Big Data Business Model Maturity Index. Organizations do not understand how far big data can take them from a business transformation perspective. Organizations don't have a way of understanding what the ultimate big data end state would or could look like, or answering questions such as, where and how should I start my big data journey? How can I create new revenue or monetization opportunities? How do I compare to others with respect to my organization's adoption of big data as a business enabler? How far can I push big data to power, even transform my business models? To help address these types of questions, I've created the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index. Not only can organizations use this index to understand where they sit with respect to other organizations in exploiting big data and advanced analytics to power their business models, but the index provides a roadmap to help organizations accelerate the integration of data and analytics into their business models. The Big Data Business Model Maturity Index is a critical foundational concept supporting the Big Data MBA and will be referenced regularly throughout the book. It's important to lay a strong base foundation in how organizations can use the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index to answer this fundamental big data business question. How effective is my organization at integrating data and analytics into our business models? Chapter 12: Objectives. Introduce the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index as a framework for organizations to measure how effective they are at leveraging data and analytics to power their business models. Discuss the objectives and characteristics of each of the 5 phases of the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index: business monitoring, business insights, business optimization, data monetization, and business metamorphosis. Discuss how the economics of big data and the 4 big data value drivers can enable organizations to cross the analytics chasm and advance past the business monitoring phase into the business insights and business optimization phases. Review lessons learned that help organizations advance through the phases of the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index. Introducing the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index. Organizations are moving at different paces with respect to where and how they are adopting big data and advanced analytics to create business value. Some organizations are moving very cautiously, as they are unclear as to where and how to start and which of the bevy of new technology innovations they need to deploy in order to start their big data journeys. Others are moving at a more aggressive pace by acquiring and assembling a big data technology foundation built on many new big data technologies such as Hadoop, Spark, MapReduce, Yarn, Mahout, Hive, HBase, and more. However, a select few are looking beyond just the technology to identify where and how they should be integrating big data into their existing business processes. These organizations are aggressively looking to identify and exploit opportunities to optimize key business processes. And these organizations are seeking new monetization opportunities, that is, seeking out business opportunities where they can package and sell their analytic insights to others, integrate advanced analytics into their products and services to create intelligent products, create entirely new products and services that help them enter new markets and target new customers. These are the folks who realize that they don't need a big data strategy as much as they need a business strategy that incorporates big data. And when organizations flip that bite on the focus of their big data initiatives, the business potential is almost boundless. Organizations can use the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index as a framework against which they can measure where they sit today with respect to their adoption of big data. The Big Data Business Model Maturity Index provides a roadmap for helping organizations to identify where and how they can leverage data and analytics to power their business models. Figure Big Data Business Model Maturity Index organizations tend to find themselves in one of 5 phases on the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index. Phase 1. Business Monitoring. In the business monitoring phase, organizations are applying data warehousing and business intelligence techniques and tools to monitor the organization's business performance, also called business performance management. Phase 2. Business Insights. In the Business Insights phase, organizations aggressively expand their data assets by amassing all of their detailed transactional and operational data and coupling that transactional and operational data with new sources of internal data, e. consumer comments, email conversations, technician notes, and external data, e. social media, weather, traffic, economic data. Gov. Sources. Organizations in the Business Insights phase then use predictive analytics to uncover customer, product, and operational insights buried in and across these data sources. Phase 3. Business Optimization. In the Business Optimization phase, organizations build on the customer, product, and operational insights uncovered in the Business Insights phase by applying prescriptive analytics to optimize key business processes. Organizations in the Business Optimization phase push the analytic results, e.g., recommendations, scores, rules, to frontline employees and business managers to help them optimize the targeted business process through improved decision-making. The business optimization phase also provides opportunities for organizations to push analytic insights to their customers in order to influence customer behaviors. An example of the business optimization phase is a retailer that delivers analytic-based merchandising recommendations to the store managers to optimize merchandise markdowns based on purchase patterns, inventory, weather conditions, holidays, consumer comments, and social media postings. Phase 4. Data Monetization. The data monetization phase is where organizations seek to create new sources of revenue. This could include selling data or insights into new markets, a cellular phone provider selling customer behavioral data to advertisers, integrating analytical insights into products and services to create smart products and services, and/or repackaging customer, product, and operational insights to create entirely new products and services that help them enter new markets and target new customers or audiences. Phase 5. Business Metamorphosis. The holy grail of the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index is when an organization leverages data, analytics, and insights to metamorphose its business. This metamorphosis necessitates a major shift in the organization's core business model, e.g., processes, people, products and services, partnerships, target markets, management, promotions, rewards and incentives, driven by the insights gathered as the organization traversed the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index. One example is organizations that metamorphose from selling products to selling business as a service. Think GE selling thrust instead of selling jet engines. Think John Deere selling farming optimization instead of selling farming equipment. Think Boeing selling air miles instead of airplanes. Another example is an organization creating a data and analytics platform that enables the growing body of third-party developers to build and market value-added applications on the organization's business-as-a-service platform. Let's explore each of these phases in more detail. Chapter 13. Phase 1. Business monitoring. The business monitoring phase is the phase where organizations are deploying business intelligence, BI, and data warehousing solutions to monitor ongoing business performance. Sometimes called business performance management, organizations in the business monitoring phase create reports and dashboards that monitor the current state of the business, flag under and/or overperformance areas of the business, and alert key business stakeholders with pertinent information whenever special out-of-bound performance situations occur. The business monitoring phase is a great starting point for most big data journeys. As part of their business intelligence and data warehousing efforts, organizations have invested significant time, money, and effort to identify and document their key business processes, that is, those business processes that make their organizations unique and successful. They have assembled, cleansed, normalized, enriched, and integrated the key operational data sources, have painstakingly constructed a supporting data model and data architecture, and have built countless reports, dashboards, and alerts around the key activities and metrics that support that business process. Lots of great assets have already been created, and these assets provide the launching pad for starting our big data journey. Unfortunately, moving beyond the business monitoring phase is a significant challenge for many organizations. The inertia established from years and decades of BI and data warehouse efforts work against the think differently approach that is necessary to fully exploit big data for business value. Plus, the big financial payoff isn't typically realized until the organization pushes through the business insights phase into the business optimization phase. So let's discuss how organizations can leverage the economics of big data to cross the analytics chasm. Chapter 14, Phase 2, Business Insights. The business insights phase couples the organization's growing wealth of internal and external structured and unstructured data with predictive analytics to uncover customer, product, and operational insights buried in the data. This means uncovering occurrences in the data that are unusual or outside normal behaviors, trends, and patterns, and worthy of business investigation. This is the phase of the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index where organizations need to exploit the economics of big data. That is, big data technologies are 20 to 50 times cheaper than traditional data warehouses in storing, managing, and analyzing data. The economics of big data enable organizations to think differently about how they gather, integrate, manage, analyze, and act upon data and provide the foundation for how organizations can advance beyond the business monitoring phase and cross the analytics chasm. The economics of big data enable 4 new capabilities that will help the organization cross the analytics chasm and move beyond the business monitoring phase into the business insights phase. These 4 big data value drivers are access to all of the organization's transactional and operational data. In big data, we need to move beyond the summarized and aggregated data that is housed in the data warehouse and be prepared to store and analyze the organization's complete history of detailed transactional and operational data. Think 25 years of detailed point of sale, POS, transactional data, not just the 13 to 25 months of aggregated POS data stored in the data warehouse. Imagine the business potential of being able to analyze each POS transaction at the individual customer level, courtesy of loyalty programs, for the past 15 to 25 years. For example, grocers could see when individual customers start to struggle financially because they are likely to change their purchase behaviors and product preferences, buying lower quality products, replacing branded products with private label products, increasing the use of discounts and coupons. You can't see those individual customer behaviors and purchase tendencies in the aggregated data stored in the data warehouse. With big data, organizations have the ability to collect, analyze, and act on the entire history of every purchase occasion by Bill Schmartzo: what products he bought in what combinations, what prices he paid, what coupons he used, what and when he bought on discount, which stores he frequented on what time of day and day of the week, what were the outside weather conditions during those purchase occasions, what were the local economic conditions, etc. When you can analyze transactional and operational data at the individual customer, or patient, student, technician, teacher, wind turbine, ATM, truck, jet engine, etc. level, you can uncover insights about individual customer or product behaviors, tendencies, propensities, preferences, and usage patterns. It is on these individual customer or product insights that organizations can take action. It's very difficult to create actionable insights at the aggregated level of store, zip code, or customer behavioral categories. Access to internal and external unstructured data. Data warehouses don't like unstructured data. Data warehouses want structured data. Since data warehouses have been built on relational database management systems, RDMBS, the data warehouse wants its data in rows and columns. As a consequence, organizations and their business users have been taught that they really don't need access to unstructured data. But big data challenges this issue by giving all organizations a cost-effective way to ingest, store, manage, and analyze vast varieties of unstructured data. And the integration of the organization's unstructured data with the organization's detailed structured data provides the opportunity to uncover new customer, product, and operational insights. While most of the excitement about unstructured data seems to be about the potential of external unstructured data, social, blogs, newsfeeds, annual reports, mobile, third-party, publicly available, the gold for many organizations lies in their internal unstructured data, consumer comments, email conversations, doctor-teacher-technician notes, work orders, service requests. For example, in a project to improve the predictive maintenance of wind turbines, it was discovered that when a technician scales a wind turbine to replace a ball bearing, he or she makes other observations while at the top of the turbine, observations such as it smells weird in here, or it's warmer than normal, or there are dust particles in the air. Each of these types of unstructured comments could provide invaluable insights into the predictive maintenance of the wind turbine, especially when coupled with the operational sensor readings, error codes, and vibrations that are coming off that particular wind turbine. Exploiting real-time analytics. New big data technologies provide organizations the technical capabilities to flag and act on special or unusual situations in real time. Data warehouses have traditionally been batch environments and struggled to uncover and support the real-time opportunities in the data. For example, trickle-feeding data into the data warehouse has been a long-time data warehouse challenge because the minute new data enters the data warehouse, all the supporting indices, aggregate tables, and materialized views need to be updated with the new data. That's hardly conducive to real-time analysis. Most organizations do not have a long list of use cases that require a real-time analytics environment, real-time bidding, fraud detection, digital ad placement, pricing, yield optimization. However, there are many use cases for right-time analytics, where the opportunity time is measured not in seconds but in minutes or hours or even days. For example, nurses and admissions personnel in a hospital likely have 4 to 5 minutes to score the likelihood of a patient catching a hospital-acquired infection, staph infection, during the patient's admission process. Another example is location-based services that target shoppers that meet certain demographic and/or behavioral characteristics as they walk by a store. The best approach for uncovering these right-time analytic opportunities is to break the targeted key business initiative into the data events that compose that business initiative. Then identify those data events where knowing about that event sooner, minutes sooner, hours sooner, maybe even a day sooner, could provide a monetization opportunity. Integrating predictive analytics. Finally, we can use predictive analytics to mine the wealth of structured and unstructured data to identify areas of unusualness in the data. That is, use predictive analytics to uncover occurrences in the data that are outside normal behaviors or engagement patterns. Organizations can apply predictive analytics and data mining techniques to uncover customer, product, and operational insights or areas of unusualness buried in the massive volumes of detailed structured and unstructured data. These insights uncovered during the business insights phase need to be reviewed by the business users, the subject matter experts, to determine if these insights pass the S-test. That is, the insights are strategic. The insight is important or strategic to what the business is trying to accomplish with respect to the targeted business initiative. Actionable. The insight is something that the organization can act on when engaging with its key business entities. Material. The value or benefit of acting on the insight is greater than the costs associated with acting on that insight, cost to gather and integrate the data, cost to build and validate the analytic model, cost to integrate the analytic results into the operational systems. For example, organizations could apply basis statistics, data mining, and predictive analytics to their growing wealth of structured and unstructured data to identify insights such as marketing campaigns that are performing 2 to 3 times better than the average campaign performance in certain markets on certain days of the week, customers that are reacting 2 to 3 standard deviations outside the norm in their purchase patterns for certain product categories in certain weather conditions, suppliers whose components are operating outside the upper or lower limits of a control chart in extreme cold weather situations. Chapter 15. Cross-reference. For the predictive analytics to be effective, organizations need to build detailed analytic profiles for each individual business entity: customers, patients, students, wind turbines, jet engines, ATMS, etc. The creation and role of analytic profiles is a topic covered in Chapter 5, Differences between Business Intelligence and Data Science. Business Insights Phase Challenge. The Business Insights phase is the most difficult stage of the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index because it requires organizations to think differently about how they approach data and analytics. The rules, techniques, and approaches that worked in the business intelligence and data warehouse worlds do not necessarily apply to the world of big data. This is truly the crossing the analytics chasm moment. Figure crossing the analytics chasm. For example, business intelligence analysts were taught to slice and dice the data to uncover insights buried in the data. This approach worked fine when dealing with gigabytes of data, 5 to 9 dimensions, and 15 to 25 metrics. However, the slice and dice technique does not work well when dealing with petabytes of data, 40 to 60 dimensions, and hundreds of metrics. Also, much of the big data financial payback or return on investment, ROI, is not realized until the organization reaches the business optimization phase. This is why it is important to focus your big data journey on a key business initiative, something that the business is trying to achieve over the next 9 to 12 months. The focus on a business initiative can provide the necessary financial and organizational motivation to push through the business insights phase and to realize the financial return and payback created in the business optimization phase. Chapter 16, Phase 3, Business Optimization. The business optimization phase is the stage of the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index where organizations develop the predictive analytics, predicts what is likely to happen, and the prescriptive analytics, recommends actions that should be taken, necessary to optimize the targeted key business process. This phase builds on the analytic insights uncovered during the business insights phase and constructs predictive and prescriptive analytic models around those insights that pass the S criteria. One client called this the "tell me what I need to do" phase. While many believe that this is the part of the maturity index where organizations turn the optimization process over to the machines, in reality it is more likely that the business optimization phase delivers actionable insights, recommendations, scores, rules, to frontline employees and managers to help them make better decisions supporting the targeted business process. Examples include delivering resource scheduling recommendations to store managers based on purchase history, buying behaviors, seasonality, and local weather and events, delivering distribution and inventory recommendations to logistic managers given current and predicted buying patterns, coupled with local traffic, demographic, weather, and events data, delivering product pricing recommendations to product managers based on current buying patterns, inventory levels, competitive prices, and product interest insights gleaned from social media data, delivering financial investment recommendations to financial planners and agents based on a client's financial goals, current financial asset mix, risk tolerance, market and economic conditions, and savings objectives, house, college, retirement, delivering maintenance, scheduling, and inventory recommendations to wind turbine technicians based on error codes, sensor readings, vibration readings, and recent comments captured by the technician during previous maintenance activities. The business optimization phase also seeks to influence customer purchase and engagement behaviors by analyzing the customer's past purchase patterns, behaviors, and tendencies in order to deliver relevant and actionable recommendations. Common examples include Amazon's customers who bought this item also bought recommendations, Netflix's movie recommendations, and Pandora's music recommendations. The key to the effectiveness of these recommendations is capturing and analyzing an individual customer's purchase, usage, and engagement activities to build analytic profiles that codify that customer's preferences, behaviors, tendencies, propensities, patterns, trends, interests, passions, affiliations, and associations. Finally, the business optimization phase needs to integrate the customer, product, and operational prescriptive analytics or recommendations back into the operational systems, call center, Salesforce automation, direct marketing, procurement, logistics, inventory, and management applications, reports, dashboards, systems. For example, think of an intelligent store manager's dashboard, where instead of just presenting tables and charts of data, the intelligent dashboard goes one step further to actually deliver recommendations to the store manager to improve store operations. Chapter 17. Cross-reference. The potential user experience ramifications of pushing prescriptive analytics to both customers and frontline employees are discussed in Chapter 4, Importance of the User Experience. Chapter 18. Phase 4. Data monetization. The data monetization phase is the phase of the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index where organizations leverage the insights gathered from the business insights and business optimization phases to create new revenue opportunities. New monetization opportunities could include packaging data with analytic insights for sale to other organizations. In one example, a smartphone vendor could capture and package insights about customer behaviors, product performance, and market trends to sell to advertisers, marketers, and manufacturers. In another example, MapMyRun, which was purchased by Under Armour for $150 million, could package the customer usage data from its smartphone application to create audience and product insights that it could sell to a variety of companies, including sports apparel manufacturers, sporting goods retailers, insurance companies, and healthcare providers. Figure packaging and selling audience insights, integrating analytic insights directly into an organization's products and services to create intelligent products or services, such as cars that learn a customer's driving patterns and behaviors and adjust driver controls, seats, mirrors, brake pedals, suspension, steering, dashboard displays, etc. To match the customer's driving style, televisions and DVRs that learn what types of shows and movies a customer likes and search across the different cable and internet channels to find and automatically record similar shows for that customer. Ovens that learn how a customer likes certain foods prepared and cooks them in that manner automatically, and also include recommendations for other foods and recipes that others like you enjoy. Jet engines that can ingest weather, elevation, wind speed, and other environmental data to make adjustments to blade angles, tilt, yaw, and rotation speeds to minimize fuel consumption during flight. Repackaging insights to create entirely new products and services that help organizations to enter new markets and target new customers or audiences. For example, organizations can capture, analyze, and package customer, product, and operational insights across the overall market in order to help channel partners to more effectively market and sell to their customers, such as online digital marketplaces. Yahoo, Google, eBay, Facebook could leverage general market trends and other merchant performance data to provide recommendations to small merchants on inventory, ordering, merchandising, marketing, and pricing. Financial services organizations could create a financial advisor dashboard for their agents and brokers that captures clients' investment goals, current income levels, and current financial portfolio and creates investment, risk, and asset allocation recommendations that help the brokers and agents more effectively service their customers. Retail organizations could mine customer loyalty transactions and engagements to uncover customer and product insights that enable the organization to move into new product categories or new geographies. While the data monetization phase is clearly the phase of the big data business model maturity index that catches everyone's attention, it is important that the organization goes through the business insights and business optimization phases in order to capture the customer, product, operational, and market insights that form the basis for these new monetization opportunities. Chapter 19, Phase 5, Business Metamorphosis. The business metamorphosis phase of the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index should be the ultimate goal for organizations. This is the phase of the maturity index where organizations seek to leverage the data, analytics, and analytic insights to metamorphosize or transform the organization's business model, processes, people, products and services, partnerships, target markets, management, promotions, rewards and incentives. The business metamorphosis phase is where organizations integrate the insights that they captured about their customers' usage patterns, product performance behaviors, and overall market trends to transform their business models. This business model metamorphosis allows organizations to provide new services and capabilities to their customers in a way that is easier for the customers to consume and facilitates the organization engaging in higher value and more strategic services. For example, contemplate the data, analytics, and analytic insights that Boeing would need to transform its business from selling airplanes to selling air miles. Think of the data, analytics, and insights that Boeing would need to uncover about passengers, airlines, airports, routes, holidays, economic conditions, etc. in order to optimize its business models, processes, people, etc. to successfully execute this business change. Think of the business requirements necessary to encourage third-party developers to build and market value-add services and products on Boeing's new business model. This is a topic and example that is considered in more detail in Chapter 12, Metamorphosis Exercise. Other business metamorphosis phase examples could include Energy companies moving into the home energy optimization business by recommending when to replace appliances, based on predictive maintenance, and even recommending which appliance brands and models to buy based on the performance of different appliances, taking into consideration your usage patterns, local weather, local water quality, and local environmental conditions such as local water conservation efforts and energy costs. Retailers moving into the shopping optimization business by recommending specific products given customers' current buying patterns as compared with others like them, including recommendations for products that they may not even sell, think Miracle on 43rd Street. Airlines moving into the travel delight business of not only offering discounts on air travel based on customers' travel behaviors and preferences but also proactively finding and recommending deals on hotels, rental cars, limos, sporting or musical events, and local sites, shows, restaurants, and shopping in the areas based on their areas of interest and preferences. While it is a significant challenge for organizations to ever reach the business metamorphosis phase, having that as the goal can both be motivating and provide an organizational catalyst to move more aggressively along the maturity index. Big Data Business Model Maturity Index Lessons Learned. There are some interesting lessons that organizations will discover as they progress through the phases of the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index. Understanding these lessons ahead of time should help prepare organizations for their big data journey. Chapter 20. Focus initial big data efforts internally. The first three phases of the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index seek to extract more financial or business value out of the organization's internal processes or business initiatives. The first three phases drive business value and a return on investment, ROI, by seeking to integrate new sources of customer, product, operational, and market data with advanced analytics to improve the decisions that are made as part of the organization's key internal process and business initiatives. Optimize internal processes. The internal process optimization efforts start by seeking to leverage the organization's business intelligence and data warehouse assets. This includes building on the data warehouse's data sources, data extraction and enrichment algorithms, dimensions, metrics, key performance indicators, reports, and dashboards. The maturity process then applies the 4 big data value drivers to cross the analytics chasm from the business monitoring phase into the business insights and ultimately the business optimization phases. The 4 big data value drivers: access to all the organization's detailed transactional and operational data at the lowest level of granularity, at the individual customer, machine, or device level. Integration of unstructured data from both internal, consumer comments, email threads, technician notes, and external sources, social media, mobile, publicly available, with the detailed transactional and operational data to provide new metrics and new dimensions against which to optimize key business processes. Leverage real-time, or right-time, data analysis to accelerate the organization's ability to identify and act on customer, product, and market opportunities in a timelier manner. Apply predictive analytics and data mining to uncover customer, product, and operational insights or areas of unusualness buried in the massive volumes of detailed structured and unstructured data that are worthy of further business investigation. Organizations must leverage these 4 big data value drivers to cross the analytics chasm by uncovering new customer, product, and operational insights that can be used to optimize key business processes, whether delivering actionable recommendations to frontline employees and business managers or delivering next best offer or recommendations to delight customers and business partners. Chapter 21. Leverage insights to create new monetization opportunities. The last 2 phases of the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index are focused on external market opportunities to create new monetization or revenue opportunities based on the customer, product, and operational insights gleaned from the first 3 phases of the maturity index. Figure create new monetization opportunities. This is the part of the big data journey that catches most organizations' attention. The opportunity to leverage the insights gathered through the optimization of their key business processes to create new revenue or monetization opportunities. Organizations are eager to leverage new corporate assets, data, analytics, and business insights in order to create new sources of revenue. This is the 4 phase of the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index, where organizations focus on leveraging data and analytics to create new opportunities to make me more money. Chapter 22: Preparing for Organizational Transformation. To fully exploit the big data opportunity, subtle organizational and cultural changes will be necessary for the organization to advance along the maturity index. If organizations are serious about integrating data and analytics into their business models, then 3 organizational or cultural transformations will need to take place. 1. Treat data as an asset. Organizations must start to treat data as an asset to be nurtured and grown, not a cost to be minimized. Organizations must develop an insatiable appetite for more data even if they are unclear as to how they will use that data. This is a significant cultural change from the data warehouse days where we treated data as a cost to be minimized. Legally protect your analytics intellectual property. Organizations must put into place formal processes and procedures to capture, track, refine, and even legally protect their analytic assets, analytic models, data enrichment algorithms, and analytic results such as scores, recommendations, and association rules, as key organizational intellectual property. While the underlying technologies may change over time, the resulting data and analytic assets will survive those changes if the organizations can institute a well-managed and enforced process to capture, store, share, and protect those analytic assets. Get comfortable using data to guide decisions. Business management and business users must gain confidence in using data and analytics to guide their decision-making. Organizations must get comfortable with making business decisions based on what the data and the analytics tell them versus defaulting to the highest paid person's opinion, HIPPO. The organization's investments in data, analytics, people, processes, and technology will be for naught if the organization isn't prepared to make decisions based on what the data and the analytics tell them. With that said, it's important that the analytic insights are positioned as recommendations that business users and business management can accept, reject, or modify. In that way, organizations can leverage analytics to establish organizational accountability. Summary: businesses of all sizes must reframe the big data conversation with business leaders. The Big Data Business Model Maturity Index provides a framework that enables business and IT leaders to discuss and debate the question: how effective is our organization at integrating data and analytics into our business model? The business possibilities seem almost endless with respect to where and how organizations can leverage big data and advanced analytics to drive their business model. The Big Data Business Model Maturity Index provides a roadmap, a how-to guide to direct the business and IT stakeholders from the business monitoring phase through the business insights and business optimization phases, to the ultimate goals in the data monetization and business metamorphosis phases to create new business models. Table: Big Data Business Model Maturity Index Summary: Business Monitoring, Business Insights, Business Optimization, Data Monetization, Business Metamorphosis. Monitor key business processes and report on business performance using data warehousing and business intelligence techniques. Pool all detailed, operational and transactional data with internal unstructured data and external, third-party, publicly available data. Integrate with advanced analytics to uncover customer, product, and operational Insights buried in the data deliver actionable recommendations and scores to frontline employees to optimize customer engagement, deliver actionable recommendations to end customers based on their product and usage preferences, propensities, and tendencies, monetize the customer, product, and operational insights coming out of the optimization process to create new services and products, capture new markets and audiences, and create smart products and services, reconstitute customer, product, and operational insights to metamorphose the very fabric of an organization's business model, including processes, people, compensation, promotions, product services, target markets, and partnerships. Ultimately, big data only matters if it can help organizations generate more money through improved decision-making or improved operational effectiveness for non-profit organizations. Big data holds the potential to both optimize key business processes and create new monetization or revenue opportunities. In summary, the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index provides a frame. That is the heart of Big Data MBA. If it helped, a quick subscribe keeps more summaries coming. So how do data and business connect? That is exactly where we started. Go back to the top and watch it click into place.